Okay, I think we'll get started. So if you're coming from the GNL project, I encourage you to look at the introductory video to this playlist to see if this is the right course for you. Otherwise, we're going to talk about springs, or the so-called spring mass system. And so what we have here is we're going to imagine a mass attached to a spring. And if it's just sitting there, and the spring is not under tension, then we're in the equilibrium position. But now if we pull the spring to elongate it, so we're in a condition of elongation, or we compress the spring so that we're in a condition of compression by an amount delta x in either case, then we will experience a force, and that force will be a restoring force, always directed back towards the equilibrium position. So the spring force changes its direction based on whether it needs to go to the left or to the right, or up or down, to get back to the equilibrium position. And we're going to be talking about ideal springs. So these are ones that follow this for no matter how big the displacement is. Any real spring, say imagine you're compressing it, eventually you'll compress it until the coils are touching each other, and then the force would become much higher to compress. And you could imagine stretching the spring, and then all of a sudden the coils bend and we don't have that same restoring force. So Hooke's law is taking this as just an ideal case. And it's linear. The force is linearly proportional to the distance. So if you double the distance, you double the force needed to get there. Then there's this one parameter that's dealing with the spring, and that is called the spring constant. So this is the spring constant. And look at the units here. It's going to be newtons divided by meters. So that we get newtons over here to match the newtons on the other side. And then the minus sign is what we just said there. This is because it's restoring. It's a restoring force. Okay, let's look at an example. Let's consider a spring mass system on the International Space Station, and then back on Earth, the exact same system. So let's say we've got a 20 kilogram mass, and on the space station, the equilibrium position is at 0.25 meters. The free body diagram for this would just be a dot, right? Because it's weightless, so there's no weight force, and there's no Hooke's law force or restoring force, so it would just be a dot. Now let's take it down on Earth, and we're going to ask, where is the new equilibrium position? The spring is the spring, so its force constant stays the same. The mass is the mass, so that stays the same. What's going to be different is now the mass will experience weight, and the spring will experience a elongation, which will want to pull the mass back up. In the free body diagram, I didn't draw this quite right. They should be the same length, weight and spring. And so we see the equilibrium condition is when the spring force is equal to the weight force in magnitude. Now, in magnitude, the spring force is K delta X, right? There's that restoring force, but we're just looking at the magnitudes now. And the weight force is mg. So we can solve for delta X, and we're going to get 3.2 centimeters. That would be negative, right? In this particular situation, we're going down 3.2 centimeters, but that's not really what we're asking. We're asking how long is this spring? What is the new equilibrium length? And so we have 25 plus 3.2. So the new spring on Earth will be stretched a little bit at 25 or 28 centimeters. Now, what we can do is we can use this as a new spring mass system. So this mass hanging there on Earth is now still a perfect spring. So it will undergo Hooke's law based on this new equilibrium position. And this is valuable when you've got like some apparatus that has this spring and you're going to be, say, putting something on it, like a balance or something, and you're looking at the stretching of the spring due to what you put on it, and you don't so much care about the device itself. And so what we're going to do is effectively say this is just a new spring. We can ignore the weight of this, right? And then if we're going to put another weight on it, it'll just adjust about this equilibrium. So the new system would be a massless pan here, and this is the equilibrium position. Now we can put something on that pan, another mass, and ask how far does that stretch the spring. So let's say we put on a 10 kilogram mass, we add this. We don't consider the 25 kilograms now. That's already taken care of by the fact that we found this new equilibrium position. And so we do a similar calculation, and we get 1.3 centimeters. And so the new equilibrium length is 1.3, or the displacement would be, is 29.5, or the displacement is 1.3. And then last thing I want to end on, let's say this mass is stuck to two springs, K1 and K2. Well, we have two forces here, F1 and F2. Our total force is F net, so that's 1 plus 2. So we can add these together. I can pull out the common minus sign and the common delta x, and so we can see that the effective K total is equal to K1 plus K2. So if we have multiple springs, the force constants just add. All right, so pretty quick lecture today. We're going to get a lot of practice with this in class, and so we'll do that. If you're coming from the G and Lewis project, follow along with some of the homework and make sure you challenge yourself by making up some problems and working them out.